What's up, gamers, and welcome into my Diablo 4 Frost Sorcerer build video. Today I'm going to show you how much I absolutely destroy things. We've got Nightmare Dungeon here running in the background. I'm going to break this video up into 6 different topics, and I'm going to leave timestamps for each one down below. So make sure you click through the video if you need a specific part. But these topics I'm going to discuss here are the skills, then the play style. Then we're going to go over the skill tree, the gear, the Paragon levels, and then we're just going to end in some gameplay. So we're going to jump right into the skills here. We're going to want a teleport. Teleport is very huge, especially in these nightmare dungeons, like you've seen me there having to dive inside of the bubble so I don't get one hit by the nightmare mechanic. Teleport is absolutely huge, and then we've got this build revolves a lot around doing extra damage to chilled, frozen, and stunned enemies. So what we're going to do here, and you'll see me like literally one hit elite, is we are going to Frost Nova twice is pretty much how I open. Or not Frost Nova, sorry, Blizzard. I've also got Frost Nova. Frost Nova's kind of a I need to freeze them right now to nuke them kind of thing. More or less, Blizzard is just kept up wherever the mobs are at constantly, because the way that the chilled effect works in Diablo 4 is chill takes roughly 3 or 4 seconds over time to actually freeze someone, and once they're frozen, that's when the big damage comes in. So if I go into a fight with elites, the first thing I'll do is I'll Frost Nova, and then I will also throw down some Blizzards as well. This is, like I said, a Nightmare Mode World Tier 3 dungeon, and I make pretty quick work of just about everything. So I do go into the Hydra skill because I felt like the ultimate skill for Frost was just bad. It reminds me a lot of an ice block from World of Warcraft, so it just literally does nothing but keeps you alive, which, as you can see, I have absolutely no problem staying alive. Because a lot of the damage increase I do also is based off barriers. Whenever I attack an elite or kill an elite, I get a barrier, and we also got bonus barrier damage and stuff. So I ended up going with the big fire pull-in thing. It's more or less just to pull enemies in to give me some more crowd control, because I've got all that crowd control damage. The only thing I could find to do better with this build is my mana regeneration, or just my mana use in general. So I'm still working on trying to find ways to do that, because if I get caught with no mana and all cooldowns, I'm a little screwed until that stuff comes back. Like I said, once I get a Blizzard down or a Frost Nova down, it's literally GG. So let's go ahead and get into the skill tree here. So we're going to start off with 1 point in Frostbolt. Like I mentioned before, Frostbolt is kind of useless. You can go here to get vulnerability for 3 seconds, but it's just not. No. So we go ahead and take this one because we have to come down here. So then we're going to go 5 levels into Ice Shards, as well as Ice Shards have a 40% chance to ricochet. This ricochet works really, really good. It almost seems like 100% chance most of the time. And then we've also got 5 shards to do a single cast, makes enemies vulnerable. You know what? I'm actually going to get rid of this because, we're focusing hardcore on vulnerability from our Frost Nova. So I'm going to take that back and leave that the way that is, because I think I've got a better spot to put that 1 point. So here we go. We come down here to Glass Cannon. We're obviously going to have 18% increased damage and take 9 more. But honestly, I don't have problems with dying. So we are going to put 1 point into teleport here as well. Okay, yeah, we just have 1 point into teleport, which is all we need. We just got to get out of dodge occasionally. Not very often, but it's enough, cooldown to where we don't really have to suffer. We've also got our Frost Nova here, and we got 1 point into Frost Nova. And then we're going to, every enemy we kill with, that's frozen by Frost Nova, helps our cooldown out a little bit to knock it down, which is kind of nice. And then this is where our huge vulnerability is going to come into play. Makes enemies vulnerable for 4 seconds and 6 seconds on bosses and elites. So that is actually huge, because this build is very much based on doing huge damage to frozen, chilled, stunned, or vulnerable enemies. So here we go down here. We're also going to be focusing on barrier damage. So anytime we can have a barrier up, I'll show you later with a piece of gear that I have as well. Anytime we can have a barrier up, we do huge increased damage. So we've got 3 points in the barrier here. We had to go into damage reduction, which isn't you know, ideal, but it is what it is. Right here we have conjurations. Nothing put into conjuration specifically because we're not conjuring anything, right? We're not putting any points in any of this. We do have lucky hit chance, which if you don't know what lucky hit chance is, if you know the term proc, proc is pretty much a random chance for a skill's special ability to kick in, which, and in our case, is Avalanche, the very last talent down here. And that is going to, we have a 10% chance to make our next Ice Shard, Frozen Orb, or Blizzard cost no mana. So the higher our lucky hit chance is, the higher our chance is to actually get that proc. So anything you can find to put lucky hit chance in, that's absolutely awesome. Precision Magic. GG's. All right, we're going to come down here. Your berries have a 5% increased duration, so that 1 point that I just yoinked there, we are going to put it into our barrier duration. Increase that, because anytime we have barriers up, we do huge increased damage, which is super good. And then here you have a barrier active. You apply 24% more chill, so we're also going to take the mobs from chilled to frozen a lot faster. For the ones that are going to be getting hit by our blizzard here. You know, so if they're not the Frost Nova frozen guy, then, you know, this blizzard's going to get them frozen pretty quick, especially if you have a barrier active. So that's pretty awesome. So we've got 5 ranks into blizzard. I've got an additional 4 ranks on my gear. That helps out with this a little bit. So technically, I could remove, because we don't get any additional stats. Oh, no, we actually do. Okay. So we do get additional stats for the overage on our Blizzard ranks here, so that's actually good, huge, good to know, good to know. Blizzard deals 25% increased damage to frozen enemies, so that's obviously huge. And then when you have an active Blizzard, your core skills cost 10% less. So our core skill is, you know, Icy Shards up here. Icy Shards is going to be our big damage dealer to absolutely annihilate any frozen enemies that we have. And then we're going to come down here, and I took all 12 of these because, obviously, for obvious reasons, Frost skills deal 15% increased damage to elites. You deal 12% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Obviously, we have Frost Nova and Frozen to make enemies vulnerable. And then we come over here and we get to 9% increase to chilled enemies and 18% to frozen enemies. So we're just stacking on here. The amount of damage that we're going to be doing. And cold damage against vulnerable enemies has a 20% chance to generate mana. Obviously, I mentioned previously that I'm trying to find ways to get mana back faster and more efficiently. So if you guys have any tips for that, make sure you drop them down in the comments. And then we also have Avalanche here, which is going to give us our lucky hit, which is going to make it to where we can cast, you know, Blizzard and Ice Shards for free. We don't use Frozen Orb because that skill sucks. But anyway... And we have increased damage, up to 80% more damage to vulnerable enemies. So absolutely insane, guys. This build is crazy. So let's go ahead and check out the gear that I have. So this staff has the Blizzard turns into ice spikes and explodes effect, which is absolutely insane. And obviously deals more damage to frozen enemies. So this staff rolled really well with damage to injured enemies, critical strike damage, intellect, crowd control damage. I mean, it's really good. And it came with 2 sockets as well. I crafted this one out of a yellow that dropped really well. So yeah, it had pretty good stats on it. So went ahead and turned it over. But you'll also see that we have damage to burning enemies, which is like, whatever. I mean, we do use this Inferno to pull people in, which causes burn damage. So, I mean, it's not a completely wasted skill, but at the same time, I would rather have, you know, damage to frozen enemies instead. So anyway, our boots are a sacred unique that I just found the other day. Critical strike chance is increased by 19% of your movement speed bonus, so the faster we run, the more damage we do, so that's always good. Here comes the imprint for damaging an elite enemy, grant you a barrier. So this is going to give us additional barriers that are also getting buffed and lasting longer than they were before now, so that's super huge. Now I have 2 items here that have the exact same imprint as another item I have. So you'll see that this one right here matches my staff, which is kind of a waste, and this one here matches my ring, which the ring has a maxed out 35% chance out of 35%, which is super nice. And that is going to immobilize, stun, or frozen enemies, do more damage too. So that's honestly humongous. So on the chest here, we've just got increased armor for the legendary aspect. We've also got 12% more cold damage. The chest could be better. I'm still looking for a better chest. I also have barrier generation gems in all of my sockets. If you guys think there's a better way to do that, let me know. But this is what I've came up with so far to get that barrier generation up and active more often. So we also have lucky hit chance increased here, so we're going to get our procs more often while we have a barrier active. So that's super huge. Like I said over here, this is a duplicate legendary effect. Nothing really too crazy. At the end of the day, I really just need a new amulet, so I'm going to keep looking for that. Here we've got another 13% damage to vulnerable enemies, and we've got overpower damage as well, which is super huge. And then we've got your when you freeze an enemy, there is a 33% chance they will become vulnerable. So all this stuff compiled in with those skills is just, I'm just wreaking havoc right now, guys. I'm telling you, this build is crazy and is a good, it's not like you could just, oh, okay, I'm a fire mage and I just want to switch to this build. Obviously, it takes time. You have to build up to it. You have to start focusing on what gear to get and what gear to not get. But I highly suggest you go this route because I am absolutely smashing with no problems right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at my Paragon points. Obviously, I'm still learning Paragon a little bit, but I'll tell you what I went with that's working for me right now. The glyph I was after is vulnerable damage. So dealing damage to vulnerable enemies increases your damage by 1% for 6 seconds up to 10%. So vulnerable damage is obviously a huge part of this build. And you can take a screenshot of this if you want to take the same path that I did, but more or less I needed 25 dexterity. And whenever it says purchase in radius, if you haven't figured that out yet, it's inside of this red box here. So if I need 25 dexterity to make this sock glyph work with the additional bonus requirement, you have to find 25 dexterity mixed into anything inside of this square. So you can see they're the ones with the little sword and hands right there. That's 7 dexterity. Another 5 there, 5 there, 5 there, 5 there. So that gets us 27, which is enough to get this glyph additional bonus activated. And, once we get up here, I believe we start getting into, unlocking a whole nother thing of Paragons up here. So not sure when that happens, but we're working on it right now. But anyway, I'm going to jump into this dungeon here real fast, and we're going to merc some stuff and show you guys how it works and a little bit more of how to make it work. And we'll kind of walk through it here a little bit. All right, so we're gonna come up. Just gonna start, kind of blizzarding everything. Don't necessarily need to stop and kill them, but I will just because. But I'm looking for elite packs. Obviously, this looks like a huge pack up here, so we're gonna come in here and I'm gonna Frost Nova and watch when I right click, it ricochets and everything just dies. So that's why I'm saying that ricochet, that 40% seems not very accurate. So we got more enemies coming in. Frost Nova's on cooldown, so I'm gonna bring them all in here, get that CC, and take him out. Nice, we get a ring drop. Love that. We love to see legendary drops. Okay, we got a ring. Is it any good? Critical strike with core skills. Increases your attack speed, so that could be good if we didn't run out of mana. That would just make us run out of mana faster, so we don't want to do that. Although it'd give us more damage, but if we run out of mana, we're kind of SOL. But if it's mixed with the proc, and we get, like 100% lucky crit chance and get to proc all the time, then that would be kind of crazy. Alright, here we go. Some more stuff. Come in. Frost Nova. Everything just dies. Even the elite, he just dies instantly. Okay. Out of Frost Nova now, so we're going to rain on him. Try and freeze him with Icy Veins. Dude, good lord, freaking Ice Shards. See how we don't do much damage? And see, here's the left click. Like, that's terrible, dude. We're going to freeze him eventually, like now, and then he just explodes. But the left click is just a huge waste, honestly. And I don't want to go with anything else for burn damage or something like that. Just because, I mean, if I want to be doing damage, at least I want it to be cold. gonna keep burning through here, try and get this big guy frozen. As soon as he's frozen, then everything else just follows suit. Okay, gonna grab this. We're not gonna grab the protection shrine just for the sake of, you know, staying true to the build here. Normally I just skip these little one dudes. Try and gather them all up. Here we go. Here's a good chunk. Alright. Your teleport is also really good for getting you out of crowd control effects if you ever get feared or anything like that. You know, obviously if you've been using teleport, you know that. But yeah, teleport will pretty much get you out of any problem you have. So I'm going to drop 2 blizzards right here. So we've got double the chance to freeze people. And then I'm going to pop Frost Nova when it's off cooldown. And just Hydra the rest of them and try and get everything dead here. Looking for that elite because he's out and about. See, now we're out of mana, running around like a weirdo because I don't know what to do. Kind of waiting for mana to come back. We get our blizzard procs, and then once it all comes back, then he just dies. So yeah, like I said, if you got any ideas for mana regeneration, things like that, to help me out with, or just help the build out in general, let me know what you got. I always cast multiple Frost Novas just for the, you know, increased faster freeze because it does stack, so that's good. So I'm going to put 2 blizzards down, and then I'm going to Nova right here, and then melt this structure. Huge damage all over the place, really. Suck them all in, blow them up. As you can see, though, I have no problems with staying alive. I'm almost taking no damage, and this is a, you know, it's a World Tier 3 dungeon. It's not Nightmare, because I did put a token in, but the first one was Nightmare. Alright, so now we're taking damage. I gotta get this guy dead. There we go. That's really what it's all about, is just waiting for that Frost Nova to come back. Once it does, just boom, 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 and everything dies. I really hope you guys are all enjoying Diablo right now. It's a lot of fun. I used to play a lot back in the day, Diablo 3. But just recently came back to it, just probably like everybody else has done, and really, really enjoying it, really having a lot of fun. Min-maxing and stuff like that, so. Yeah, see, it's just insane. Acquire a mount armor. Oh, nice. Got a new mount armor. Let's go. Alright, here we go. We're gonna cross over this and try and nuke this thing down real quick. And you will say, like I was talking about, the lucky hit procs are gonna pop up. I'll try and not attack whenever. Yep, see them down here. That's when lucky hit crit procs there. So we want to see that as much as possible because that's free casting right there. Absolutely free. Corpse bows can rot as far as I'm concerned. Frozen. It's all about freezing things. Freeze them as fast as possible. Alright, make our way this way. Get the urn out of here. We got one more thing to deconstruct here. Goodbye. Kind of screwed up and wasted all my cooldowns, so now I got nothing for this dude. Just hoping he gets frozen here. There we go. Yeah, there's definitely a rotation, a little bit more awareness to, you know, really hammering down on this build. Maybe not using Frost Nova as much until an elite pops up, like I just did there. No elites, and I just let it rip. Now I got 10 seconds left to deal with all these mobs everywhere. Alright, get these levers open. Hopefully this is the boss fight. Protection Shrine, don't care. I mean, he just disappears so fast, right? Not a struggle at all. Alright, we got the key. Let's roll. Alright, let's go ahead and get this Brood Guard. Now, when it comes to the actual bosses that have huge health bars like this, you know, we're not going to do a whole lot of damage until she gets stunned and put on the ground. I don't know if we actually end up freezing or they just freeze on their own. But we're just going to try and do as much damage as we can without wasting our Frost Nova. Actually, I mean, I can go ahead and waste the Frost Nova, really, because you can't freeze them. They just freeze on their own. I guess I could have saved it for the ads. She's obviously terrified of me. Okay, there we go. And now she's going to die, like, instantly. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, once she gets knocked down, man, that's it. But, alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do me a favor and subscribe and drop me a comment down below of what kind of builds you guys are working on. And hopefully, if you're confused and wanted to know an OP build, that you'll try and use mine and let me know if you do. So, appreciate it, guys. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.